Hello, Abigail here with the Tarotscopes for Cancer season, Virgo sun, moon, and rising. Hello, my Virgos. This season is one of the sweetest seasons of 2025. There's been a lot happening, and this is kind of one of the first seasons where it does really feel like we can get our hands on things and really shift things that we personally would like to work on, not necessarily, the universe fully at the wheel. We kind of get to steer some things this season, which I think is really nice to have. I do have a companion astrology video for this. It's the astrology for Cancer season, so you can check that out. But yeah, it's gonna give you kind of a rundown on all of the major astrological events and kind of what they mean. But yeah, the season is going to be intense and a lot. I do think it's funny. I always kind of pay attention to the tarot of the previous videos I've recorded. Um, all the other ones had tons of major arcana, and this one has a lot of minor arcana, which I think is really special because in true Virgo fashion, it's not about the moments of massive events. It's these little sweet moments of little special things that seem like happenstance that build these beautiful, glorious stories of a lifetime. And that's really what this Cancer season looks like. I also love your Oracle card because I feel like we can use this. Elixir, your wish is granted. I do think that something in this season that you've been working on or some desire that you've had is going to come to fruition or be given to you. So we love that. I love that. I'm a Virgo rising, Virgo moon. So really look for this, really manifest, really harness that new moon on the 25th. It's a really special new moon. It's the best new moon of the year. Usually, the Cancer new moon is really important because it is domicile, but we have a Jupiter conjunction, which is really lovely and pretty exciting. So, I encourage you to harness the power and energy of that new moon with that Saturn square. If you can get through some of the difficulties, it will stick. So we're looking at some long lasting shifts and changes, which I'm really excited for. So keep this little elixir in your heart and in your pocket. Moving into the other cards, we start off with the Ace of Swords, which I think something else really important to note about this season is we are in the shadow of Mercury's retrograde most of this time, and it retrogrades in Leo. So this card seems really important. There are new thoughts, ideas, ideals. A Mercury shadow, that pre Mercury shadow doesn't have to be all doom and gloom. It is also about these shifts and changes in mentality and belief. Also, we had Mercury retrograde last year, I think in like August, if I remember correctly, in Leo. So all these things are tied together. Consider that. Look back, do a little trip down memory lane. But yeah, we have this really beautiful ace here, and there are new thoughts and beginnings. And something that came up in both of the other readings um, has been about this theme of needing to change the internal story so we can change the external story and vice versa, and how those kind of need to happen simultaneously, which can be a lot. But this Cancer season is a time to rewrite patterns, to renew these stories that we tell about ourselves and about the world around us, to undo conditioning, to change dynamics. The world is very big and scary. It always has been, but I think things have been heating up, at least for the general public. If you talk to minorities, that's not the case. It's always been rough. Um, but a lot of people are coming to terms with stuff and recognizing things. And if you have not yet done that, this is your sign to. And if you have, it's that sign that you can continue. This is the journey of a lifetime. We don't just change once and then call it a day. The Ace of Swords lives forever in our pocket. So shift, change. Also, I really think this is about belief. And I think it is about belief that good things can happen too. Because I know that my Virgo risings, sometimes depending on our sun sign and our moon, can feel like not a lot of good things happen. They do. We also just need to start believing that they do. I'm not wanting to minimize and say that if you're just, good things aren't happening to you because you're not believing them, because that's really reductionist and stupid. But we do have to shift those stories that bad things are the only things that happen to us, and to really recognize the goodness when it shows up, to indicate to the universe that we know what goodness actually is. And then we have the Four of Coins. This is a time to consider our resources and what's important to us and how we want to spend it. It's also a reminder that, especially with this one, it's a little bit of a greedy card in this one. I don't always see the Four of Pentacles as greedy. I know it's kind of traditional, but to not swallow our coins, to make sure that we're using them. It's also a call to dismantle capitalist ideas and ideals. There is enough for everyone. And we're just told that there's not. Doesn't mean we don't, spend our stuff wisely and, do what we can to, be reasonable with the abundance that we are given. But also a reminder that a lot of us are in forced poverty, and in forced financial stress because of the system. And so it's not your fault. Go buy yourself that snack, that little treat, get that little tattoo, you know, and also, take care of the stuff that you have. We can do both and. Um, so yeah, it's about resources and not just financial resources. Obviously, that's kind of important. It's very on brand for Pentacles, but our emotional resources and our physical resources and our intellectual resources. How are we spending them? Where are we putting them? What is important? And also, I keep coming back to this idea during Cancer season as it's coming up. What do we really want? What do you really want? Do you want fame? Do you want visibility? Do you just want enough to live a comfortable life? Do you want an excess of things? Do you want community? Do you want family? What do you want? You need to ask yourselves these questions and get as clear as you can. Obviously, they shift over time, but really get honest with what you want. Do you want to be rich, or do you want to have enough to live a comfortable, safe life? Do you want to have an excess, or do you want to just be able to travel to different countries and see other cultures? You know, do you want fame, or do you want, or what you really want is to be seen for who you are authentically? Because fame and being seen for who you are authentically are often very different things. So just be clear. And it's not bad to want fame, it's not bad to want money, but just understand what you're actually saying will really help you with your manifestation and with understanding your dreams and desires. And then we have this Page of Wands. You can want absolutely silly, goofy things, and that is completely valid. You can just want something, you will want a room full of a certain kind of stuffed animal. And if that's your dream, go get it. You know, you can want it to like be on a reality TV show or be in a competition, and that's completely valid. Your desires don't have to be glorious and grandiose to be valuable. You can want to live a peaceful life in a safe community with a diverse variety of people, with immigrants, with people of different backgrounds and experiences, with people of different races and ethnicities. And that is completely reasonable and not silly at all, right? It's all about perspective. So, be silly, goofy. Be wild in your desires. If you want to live a bit off grid and have a community, start doing it. Start finding the people you want to work with. Figure out some bylaws. Make sure it's as non hierarchical as you can get it. Check yourself for racial bias, misogyny, all of these things. Because if you're going to start a community, you need to be investigating yourself. But start to do the things that you want. Take the baby steps. Be like, hey, friends that I really enjoy being around, any thoughts about starting to save for some kind of community that we can all live and participate in? There's all of these options that I think if we look at them as a huge picture can be really overwhelming, but you got to start one step at a time. Really start to connect to the people that are going to bring you and them the life that you want, and start building communities that give you that. The systems that we have are not going to give us this. This quote unquote democracy we live in is not going to give us freedom. This government that we live under is not going to respect the money that we give them in taxes. They are going to waste it on war and violence. So start to do the things that you need to do to create the life that you want, regardless of the conditions. Obviously, we live in the context of it, but you deserve to dream and to have the things you want. And this Cancer season is the time to take those little silly, goofy steps, little moments of taking passion and putting it out into the world. And then we have this High Priestess, which I love. A reminder that that South Node is, yes, in Virgo right now. And we will be having sextiles to Cancer and trines to the North Node. There's a really rich spiritual journey and lesson going on here. A lot of the stuff I've talked about throughout this reading have been external, and all of that is also internal. These stories we tell ourselves, our spiritual paths, our witchcraft, spirituality, whatever you practice, is all very important and highlighted in this Cancer season. Also, check out where Cancer is in your astrological chart. It'll give you some clues to what's going on. But what are the deep longings and spiritual messages and the kind of moments of subconscious signaling that we might miss if we're not focused and paying attention? And, I think this high priestess, especially with um, kind of the way this card is with the hand up and the sword down, as above, so below. What below and what above do you desire? It's also about spiritual dreams. What do you really want? Something that I really wanted after I kind of realized what I needed to do was to be able to psychically channel because I was being called to it, but I didn't have all the skills yet. You can call those in, and you will have to go on a journey, and it won't be simple or easy, but it will be valuable and it will be beautiful. So, what is this spiritual need or desire or dream that you have? Um, I have an interesting relationship with gifting. I have a lot of really strong gifting in certain areas. And I also have skill gaps, which is just comes with being autistic, and having ADHD. Where are your skills and how can you get them and how can you overcome skill gaps and like consider deficits? And how can you do it in a way that is unexpected and magical? Um, if you want to psychically channel or you want to connect to ancestors or you want to astrally travel or do some kind of really expansive magical thing, it all starts with the little steps. And it essentially starts with desire to do it, knowing that you were called to do it, and knowing that you do have gifting, you just don't know how to unlock it. Um, so yeah, this season is really about getting honest and true to yourself and knowing that all this can change. Like we don't thankfully do not stay static over a lifetime. And I love that we have the 7 of wands in this card and especially with the interpretation about not staying static. We're transforming and progressing and changing the season and not everything is as it seems. But maybe it's because we're at a really weird phase of development. Like we're at the frog phase because these are little tadpoles. We're at like the frog lizard phase when you got like 2 legs and half a fish body, right? Maybe things are weird because we're kind of in a transition. And what we want may not be clear, but what we are becoming is possible. And I think it's about believing that and trusting that. All right, my loves, that is my reading for the season. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this. Also, comment, communicate with me. I love interaction. You can find me across multiple platforms under the name The Keen Witch. But, my dear Virgos, there's a lot to be done, but it's all really rich, beautiful, very much geared towards Virgo skills and abilities coming for you in Cancer season. So, blessed Cancer season, and I will see you in a different space and time.